I like to think well, we're not going to know until I start practicing there. God, Logan, there's nothing more in the world that I want than to be part of that firm.
Well, Brian Madison, it seems the good old U.S. Navy gave you a rather complete and complex technical training here.
Well, they certainly did.
That's good. I'm always in the market for a good technician or, like, engineer.
Well, to tell you the truth, Mrs. Dorn, I'm really more interested in journalism than electronics.
Well, they're fairly closely related, aren't they? I mean, the ENG. That's what you're most interested in, isn't it? The electronic news gathering?
Well, yes, How did you know that?
ESP, I guess. No, I think you mentioned it to me, maybe on the phone when we talked earlier.
I did.
Yeah.
Well, yes, I think it's by far the most exciting thing that's happened to journalism in many years.
Well, do you know how to use a minicam?
As a matter of fact, it was one of my elective courses in the Navy. I put together 500 or 600 hours of videotape for them. In fact, I'd love to show you. No, on second thought, I don't think you'd be very interested.
500 or 600 hours? No. What I am interested in is, though, one of my minicam reporters just happens to be going to Buffalo on a job next week, and I wondered, would you be interested in roaming the streets of Monticello, gathering news?
You mean I could start that way?
Well, if you're interested, why not?
Well, that's exactly what I want to do. I just didn't think I'd get to do it this quickly.
You said you had the experience. You say you know how to use a minicam, and I can certainly use the help.
Wow. Well, as they say, this almost sounds too good to be true.
Oh, don't be deceived by what I'm offering you, young man. I'm not going to pay you a great deal, and I have a feeling you're going to find covering sandlot, softball, and street demonstrations is not going to be all that glamorous.
Neither one of those things bother me, Mrs. Dorno. In fact, I'd probably do this work for nothing. And what's bothering me is that, well, I'm really not quite sure why I'm being hired here.
Well, you're being hired because I like your resume, I like your face, I like what you say and how you say it, and I need you. Now, what other reasons do you need?
Well, I have virtually no experience working in television.
Well, I know that's a problem many young people have. I certainly understand that. I had that problem once myself. It's the old professional catch-22. You know, you can't get a job without experience. You can't get experience without a job. So, you have a job. I suggest you stop looking the gift horse in the mouth.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mrs. Dorn, I just have to ask you this. Does any of this have to do with my father? I mean, my stepfather, Owen Madison.
Excuse me just a moment, will you? Yes, Greg? Oh, good. I'm glad you got through to him. Just hold on just a second, won't you? I have a question for you, Brian. Do you want the job or don't you?
Yes, ma'am, I want it very much.
Well, fine. You've got the job. Now, get the hell out of here. I've got an important call. You pick up an application from the receptionist, bring it back to me tomorrow, all right?
Okay. Wow. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thanks very much.
Yes. See you tomorrow.
Bye.
Well, hello.
Margo, is that you?
Well, David Hansen, who else do you think you know in Monticello?
I had to read in a business magazine that you'd taken over WMON. The least you could have done was to drop me a line.
Oh, well, you know how awful I am when it comes to corresponding.
To what do I owe the honor of this call? What type of company are you planning to buy out this time?
Oh, no, I have heard you were in the hospital. I want to know how you're feeling.
I went for my annual physical the other day, and when they took my blood pressure, the gauge went tilt. I'll be out of here in no time.
Oh, well, I'm glad to hear that.
How did you know where I was?
Oh, I was informed by Draper Scott's wife.
Scott? Well, that's the young man my partners want to hire. I wasn't aware that you knew the young man.
Well, we are not just acquainted, David. Mr. Scott's wife is my daughter. He is my son-in-law.
No.
Kidding. Marge, you never mentioned having a daughter?
Oh, that's a long story, David. I must admit the possibility of his joining your firm is another reason for this call.
I see.
I mean, unless I am mistaken, you do owe me a favor or two.
I can't argue about that.
Well, I'm calling to collect.
Margo, I'm afraid you're wasting your time.
Oh, well, I haven't asked you for anything yet.
Oh, your call was unnecessary. My partners already think that your son-in-law will fit in perfectly with their plans. As far as they're concerned, he's a gift from heaven.
Oh, really?
And you don't have to twist my arm to get my approval. If everything I've heard is true, I'll be doing myself a favor by hiring him.
Oh, well, don't be too sure.
I don't follow.
David, I didn't call you to ask you to welcome Draper with open arms. I want you to turn him down.
Why?
Well, the reason is for your own good. I mean, Draper makes a wonderful first impression. But he is very young, he's very inexperienced, and I just don't think you'll be happy with him.
I'm a little confused. My partners are excellent judges of legal aptitude.
Besides, my daughter is very upset at the possibility of picking up and moving to New York. She has a home here, a beautiful home, and a career that they're both very important to her.
That's too bad. I've heard some very nice things about her.
David, it would just break April's heart to make the sacrifice that Draper's asking her to make.
Well, at this point, Margo, I'd be hard put to fight my partners on this.
David, it seems to me that in the past I gave you some cases that help you build the reputation that you have. And of course, there were some other favors I did for you. Need I be specific?
For God's sake, Margo, I'm an old man. The past is pretty much of a dead issue with me.
You still are married to Eileen, aren't you? I mean, David, she's still as devoted to you as ever, I trust.
You're making very nasty little sounds into the telephone, Margo. It's not like you.
Oh, believe me, I don't intend to rake up old ashes, David. I'm simply trying to remind you of things I did for you. And certain promises that you made to me.
Yes, I know. I said once if there was anything I could ever do for you...
Well, there is, David. David, this is very important to me. Do you understand?